there's going to be a libertarian out there who's going to tweet something that's embarrassing. How would you tell somebody who's like, hey, how would you tell someone, don't be that embarrassing libertarian tweeting out or putting out annoying, embarrassing stuff on social media? Because you've done very, very well at your messaging. That's why I want to ask you.
So what I would tell that person is, you and I both know that nothing you ever say or tweet or do is going to, it's all going to pale in comparison to the very real harm being done by the ruling class and by the status. And so when you put this out, if you put this out and the reaction you get, you will often respond saying, oh, why are you mad at me and not the people that did this thing who I'm lashing out against? And I understand that, because nothing you have, like I said, nothing, you're simply in your way explaining what is happening. The reason that the ruling class gets to get away with mass murder and the biggest prison population in human history, and victimizing innocent people who've committed no real crime against anyone else, harmed no one else, endless surveillance, the inflation, all of those things. The reason they get away with that is because they have figured out how to do what we were just talking about: humanizing themselves and presenting themselves as these caring figures who are just like me and you. And, you're the kind of person you have a beer with. How many times do they talk about how often you'd like to have a beer with Biden or Trump or Obama? These are mass murderers, but they talk about having a beer with them. They have successfully convinced deluded people into thinking that they're not the sociopathic monsters that they are. When you present messaging that allows you to look like almost the bad guy or the cruel person or the antagonist, what you're actually doing, all the facts you may be presenting, what you're actually doing is helping that narrative of humanizing them as the sympathetic protagonist, and you're the bad guy. You're just the person that's against everything. You're the person who's just so filled with anger and hatred. Why would I believe that your ideas make sense and will, help me and my family if you're being so rude about it? And as stupid as that sounds, that's how people connect.
Yeah.
So to whatever extent you can play the same game they're playing, but for the right reasons, get in emotionally on something that they care about, and then have that broader discussion, and don't fall into the trap, as tempting as it is. And I've done it. I'm sure, sure Doug's done it. We've all done it at some point, falling into the trap of helping their narrative of humanizing them. To whatever extent you can avoid that and instead focus on presenting how this is actually hurting people and how our solutions can solve these problems and keep them from happening, you'll be killing their narrative.
That's great.